Okay.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another recorded Minisode episode of the MFR Coaches podcast. This is what we look like on film. Hello, hello, hello. I have one of my clients with me, Donna Hight. Donna is a massage therapist, MFR therapist, the owner of Trinity Myofascial Release in Austin, Texas. Donna, how the heck are you? Welcome to the program.
The heck I am doing is absolutely wonderful. Thank you for having me again.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
so
excited.
Fun.
Yes. So Donna's coached with me in a couple of different ways. She was one of my original one-on-one clients. And then you were a member of my very first group, right? Like kind of on the tail end of your one-on-one coaching when I stopped doing one-on-one and went to group. And then we took a break and then you came back for coaching in the fall, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think we started that. Yeah, because it was what was it? Did it start in October? Because I was doing my T for T and my SES. So I missed like the first couple of calls because I was doing all of that business. So yeah, it was, I can't remember how much of a break that was though.
I'm trying to think, like, did you take a break from, okay, so
would
the
that
first
have been,
round of coaching would have been in 2021. And then
Mm-hmm.
I think you had a break until October of 2022.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big break. Yeah. I was thinking it was the same year, but it was
was
almost
like about
an entire year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Cause like what you came for coaching for, like when we were doing one-on-one stuff is like kind of different than what you really were kind of methodical about what you were coming for the second round. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, so the first time I came and did private coaching and then rolled into the first group coaching, I had just started my business. Like I think I was in business for maybe 4 weeks when I started coaching with you. So I really felt like I needed to have a good, firm foundation. My misconception is that you were going to do everything and fix me. So I kind of failed. I kind of failed a little bit at the first round of coaching because I literally was a little bitchy when I finished that because I didn't feel like I got what I wanted out of it. And what I wanted out of it was for you to fix me and for you to fix the problem. And then like, so it took me a little while to get a little unbutthurt. And then I started doing all of the work more, the thought process, the models and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was all my fucking problem. Like that was all me. Like let's have a moment to look in the mirror and really like have a moment of, oh, like I just, I even had a moment of like, I kind of disrespected Heather in that moment because I was expecting her to completely fix everything for me. And like, none of it was on me. None of it had to do with me.
So what I love about that so much is like the radical responsibility. And I talk about this a lot with clients and it takes everybody a different amount of time to understand what that means and to actually be like, oh, I could do this. Like I could have radical responsibility for all my results, both good and bad. And it's not like the world isn't happening to me.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, which is weird because, I've listened to your podcast. I've read your book. I'm on both Kindle and the paper version. Like I've done all the things. And so you think, I would have pulled my head out of my ass and known what to expect when coming for coaching, but I didn't. So then I kind of started getting a little bit more successful and started making a little bit more money. And all of that kind of happened in this space of about, 4 to 6 months. And I was like, I need to step back into Heather's world and actually pay attention this time and really listen to the coaching and actually get I did get a good amount of information out of that first coaching. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely did because I still pay attention. I still do all of those things. I just didn't get as much of it as I could have out of the first one. So the second round was, I feel like where I really started making the changes and doing the damn things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, taking responsibility for myself and for my actions and my thoughts and really honing in on that and paying attention to what I was doing. And since then, I've just gotten even more successful. So
I love that. I love that. I think too, like your whole demeanor changed from like, tell me what to do, but I'm going to kind of not understand anything you're telling me, right? It was like I was speaking a different
Yeah.
language a little bit, to like, I now understand all of the language you're speaking. So don't ever stop talking to me. Tell me everything. And I'm
Mhm.
going to give you feedback for how that's landing. And then I'm going to go do my work. And then, you were just doing all of the work
Mhm.
and succeeding, right? Instead of doing nothing and then wondering why nothing was happening. So
Exactly.
it's kind of
Exactly.
similar, wouldn't you say, to like our MFR clients that come to us wanting us to fix them.
I was
And
just thinking
then,
that.
yeah, it's like, it's the same thing. Like we're all human. So it shows up like this for even us
Mhm.
therapists, right? But that's why I think that this experience is so valuable, because now you can empathize with where those clients are coming from, and
Absolutely.
know and trust that like they will figure it out. I always knew that you would figure it out, no matter how frustrated you were with the situation, right? Like I was like, one of
Appreciate
these days
that.
it's just gonna
It
click.
did. It
It's
clicked.
gonna
It
click.
absolutely clicked. But I mean, yeah, it took a lot of me pulling my head out of my ass. And I think that was also seeing more clients and having them, when are you going to fix me? Or how long is it going to take for you to fix me? And so it was also that of, oh my God, I did that with Heather.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all been kind of like a come to Jesus moment of what the fuck was I doing? And so
Yeah. But the cool thing is too, is like, even though you spent time doing that, it really wasn't that long, because I see a lot of therapists do this for 10,
yeah.
15 years or 5 years, and then they shut their business down because they can't figure out what's wrong. And it's like, oh, is it me? Am
Yeah.
I the problem? Like,
Hmm.
why
Yeah.
isn't
And
my
that's
business working?
I started doing more barfy things like, putting, I signed a lease for 1,000 square foot space it's just me.
Mhm.
And I adore it. I absolutely love my space. And I did have a moment of, am I really going to do this? Am I really going to take this entire space for myself? Because I was going to rent one of the rooms. And I thought, no, I want this space to myself. Like I want my clients to be coming in here and like their hour or hour and a half, however long they're in there. Like I have a meditation room that they can come and sit in
Mhm.
before or after their appointments. Like I want them to know that when they walk in the door, no one else is going to walk in. It's just us. And it's kind of their little sanctuary of where they receive what they need to receive. So
That's really cool. That's so cool. Yeah. How is it? So are you just doing your business now, or are you still working other jobs too?
I still have a side job
Okay.
for right now.
Is
I've
that so
gone
much out of necessity or just out of habit now at this point?
it was out of necessity at the beginning of the year, and now it's out of habit. And it's also because I'm training someone to do said job. So I
Okay.
don't feel okay with leaving her in the lurch. So
Yeah.
as soon as I feel like she's good with things, I'm gonna start making my exit because
Okay.
I'm rocking and rolling in the MFR business and I don't want to stop. So
Mhm. I love that. Well, when we first met, I think you had multiple side jobs.
I had 3 extra jobs on top of MFR.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're like, why isn't anyone coming from MFR? I'm only
Yeah, why isn't anybody
available
coming?
30 minutes a
Probably
week every other Friday.
Probably because they can feel that I'm absolutely exhausted.
Yeah. I mean, you were. And that's the
I
thing too.
was.
Like when we don't believe our business is going to work out too, like we do behaviors that make it
Mhm,
almost impossible for it to work out. Like we get all these other
mhm.
jobs because we're so worried
Yeah.
about everything. So, okay. I'm so glad you've made it through that. I feel like all of this is just going to make you appreciate everything else that you've like laid the foundation for to reap the benefits of, like I mean,
Mhm.
it's currently happening. So tell us what your business is like now today.
I am pretty much fully booked. I'm booked out 2.5 to 3 weeks,
Mhm.
which is kind of brand new for me. It's only been happening for about a month and a half, and it's really I had to have some thought models on that because it really made me feel kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because
Because
I'm
you're
used
not
to
used to not struggling, right? Or worrying.
that, but I'm also not used to, like, when clients come in for the first time, I'm used to being able, when they say, how often do I need to come? And I say every week, let me get you in next week. I don't now have that ability.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of struggle there with knowing how to deal with that of, okay, well, let me get you set up to do at home care until I can see you in 3 weeks.
Yep.
So
And being confident that that's okay and that they're still
Yeah.
going to show up. Yeah.
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 And that's actually, it's actually happening and working. And so that's great.
Yeah.
I think a max of 18 to 19 people a week,
Mhm.
Monday through Thursday. I don't work in my MFR business Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because I refuse to work on the weekends. I'm 50 years old and I just refuse.
I love it.
So I keep those dates open for people that are having a healing crisis and they really need to see me, or if they want a mini intensive or anything like that, then I kind of keep those times open and only if I'm available. So
Mhm. Love it.
yeah.
Okay, so let's talk numbers.
Okay.
What did you make your first year in business?
My my first year in business was like $6,500.
Okay, good,
But that
fair.
was 6 months. I opened in July of 2021 when people were still a little freaked out about being in other people's space.
Mhm.
So yeah. And I also was offering like 8,000 things on my menu. Like
Yep.
it was ridiculous. So, and I had my calendar open to where you could just pretty much schedule with me any time of the day you wanted to. And that was chaos.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was my first year. So 2022, I made 40,000.
That's a big
And
jump.
that is a big jump. That is a big jump. This year so far, so January through today, I've made 35,375. And just in the last quarter, I've made 19,000 of that. So almost $20,000 of that just in this since April.
I love that. It's so good. And it also shows this is what I really think coaching does is it helps you to collapse time on how fast you can start to help people, which like also helps you earn more money faster. So, 40,000 in your second, or actually your first full year in
Yes.
business
Yeah.
is great. Like that's
Mhm.
super good. But then to do actually more than that, the first, not even 6 months of the year is
Mhm.
incredible. Right.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
I love that. And I love that I have, like, the other thing that coaching gave me was like, why do I have 8,000 options for someone? Like,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
really messes with your schedule. It doesn't give you the freedom of knowing exactly what's happening every day. And some people are okay with that, but I am not okay with that. I have to know
Yeah.
exactly what my day looks like every day.
Yeah.
Because I'm
And you were
weird, but
worried about that too, though, weren't you? Like, weren't you worried about getting rid of lots of options? Because I was like, you don't need
Mhm.
like all these appointments. Like, let's just pick one
Mhm. Yeah.
offer and stick to it and
Mhm.
figure it out from there.
Mhm. Yeah. And that's kind of why I had originally named my business Trinity, because I wanted to do massage, MFR, and Reiki, because I'm a Reiki
Mhm.
master as
Oh,
well.
that's
And so,
right. Yeah, that's right.
yeah, so
Okay.
I had hour appointments, hour and a half appointments for all three of those things, and just,
All
ugh.
different price points.
Yes, it was vomity. It was nauseating. So yeah, after our first round of coaching, I got rid of every single bit of that, and I only do hour services now.
Mhm.
And I schedule 30 minutes in between each one. So I have time to ground myself, get rid of the energy, eat, pee, all the things.
Mhm.
And it's a beautiful day. I absolutely love it. My max every day is 5. Um, and I do really great with that.
I love that so much. It's almost like you made decisions about how you wanted your
Yeah.
day to go, how many people you wanted to see, and then people just showed up to fill those spots.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing. Like, I think we kind of went over this in my last podcast with you, is like, I feel like when we are being healers or doing a modality that helps people, we get in this subservient, I have to be here anytime anybody wants to be here. And I literally don't get to have any boundaries because I'm trying to help people feel better.
Mhm.
And I was absolutely living all up in that. So it was hard for me to do those kinds of boundaries, but it feels so natural and second nature now
Mhm.
to have
Yeah.
those boundaries. And it's so much Like, it's night and day between how you run your business and how you feel about your business. And, every day I walk into my office, I just have this wash of, oh, I'm here, like I'm so happy to be here. Right.
Yeah. I've set this up to be exactly how I want it. Nothing's happening
Yeah,
to me. Like I'm happening to this business.
exactly. Yeah. And I think you show up in a different boss mentality when you have all of those boundaries and you set them and you actually hold them and show the respect to yourself of keeping those in place. So
yeah, totally. Well, and I think too, like the way that MFR therapists are running their businesses after coaching or during coaching is changing the narrative around like having to be available 24 hours a day, having to create all these options, having to have weekend appointments, having to try to figure out what people can afford. And by changing the narrative, it's actually empowering more people to get treatment and to decide to pay for it, because we're showing up as the leaders of like, this is how you do this. This is how you get better. And we're not hiding, because it doesn't do anybody any service to be like, oh, I think I can help you. I'm not sure, but maybe I'll refer you out. Cause I see that happening too. It was like some therapists like are insecure. So then they like their first instinct is to refer their client that found them out to somebody else who has, more classes under their belt, versus like, let's just treat whoever walks in your door. And eventually like just through treating, you are going to improve your skill set fast. Like, how do you feel about your skill set now that you're seeing 18 people a week over and over and over again? Like just the amount of clients that you're seeing.
Oh, that absolutely helps things. Like, cause then I'm only one class away from being an expert. And I've taken a whole lot of extra classes too, and repeats. I'll be a repeater for life.
That's the other thing too, is like, you really stepped up your like class attendance game, like going to classes, like, and you've done T4T and skill enhancement. Yeah, that's good. And you get regular treatment.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Absolutely. And it's really funny because, a lot of my clients would be like, so do you get this done? I'm like, absolutely. That's how much I believe in this. I don't do anything else. I do MFR. Like, I don't do anything else. And so, and you're going back to your original question, is like, I feel like I can handle anything that comes in the door. And I have some really interesting clients that have some very specific types of things going on in their body. And so it's been really interesting to research and, figure out how can I help them outside of MFR, but also knowing that MFR is going to do exactly what they need. So,
yeah, that's so fun. I love that so much.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay. So you kind of talked in the beginning, like what you thought coaching was going to be and what the reality was, and like how kind of like hard that was for you. But now knowing the difference between what you thought and what was, when you came back for coaching, was there anything that surprised you about it that second time around?
I think it was mainly more about, wow, I missed this the first time around. Like, I didn't appreciate the experience and I didn't appreciate what was really going on. And like clicking in and actually paying attention and doing the work that I needed to do. Also, and you had just grown also as a coach, you're on fleek now. Like
Thanks.
You're like, you're on fleek to begin with, but you're like super fleek. So
I'm going to get a shirt that says that.
Super fleek. So I don't know, like it's different. It's different every time. And I think it's also different every time because of the group of people that are in your coaching too. Like, so that kind of can change your outcome and your experience in the whole thing too. And you also kind of become a family and you see each other at seminars and it's like, oh, there you are in person. And so, those kinds of things are awesome. But the second time was definitely, I was more clicked in and I was more actually paying attention to what I was supposed to be doing and really taking everyone else's experience to heart and that kind of thing. So, cause before the first time, like when people were talking about their shit, I'd be like, okay, that's their stuff. I'm not going to listen to that. Right. And so I'm like,
instead of being like, how can I get coached by exactly what's happening? Or how can I lock this away for when
yeah,
this thing happens in my business? So I can spot it from a mile away. Yeah.
exactly. I mean, cause that's as much of an extrovert as I appear to be, I am actually very introverted. And so when I'm in a room full of people, I actually don't speak a lot. So,
Mhm.
like I think I've been coached once in a group thing, if that.
Really? Okay. I feel like
Yeah.
I talk to you all
So
the time, which is so funny.
I know. But so like, the second time I was actually like, okay, what is happening with the person that's speaking right now? And how can I bring that into myself? And how does that apply to my life? Because I am obviously on this call right now to hear this information. So I don't think anything is chance. So I believe that you're supposed to actually pay attention to what's happening to you in that moment. So I really just gave myself the opportunity to really pay attention to that. So
I love that. I think it's kind of similar to going to MFR seminars and like repeating them, right? Like this is me at a seminar. Like the first time I take it, I think I leave my body because it's so much information, or I'm so like interested in it. Like
yeah.
I'm like infatuated by it, like the whole class. And like you have a bond, you bond with the people in the class, like the whole experience of it
Yeah.
is, different depending on what's going on. And then when you repeat it, it's almost like the information is totally brand new, or you're
Absolutely.
hearing it again, but you're hearing it like it makes more sense because you've already been introduced to it one time. So I kind of like to think about staying in coaching or repeating coaching is the same idea. Like you might hear information again, but you're different and it's going to be applied
Yeah.
different because you're different. So you're just going to become more expert at
Absolutely.
techniques. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of see that too. Like the first round of coaching or the first like seminar you take, it's very disassociation and trauma bonding at the same time. and trying to gather up as much information as you can.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. I think too, with like having like a time limit, like for the way that group has been previously run, it was like, let's get this going in 90 days. Like, let's consume the content and like get going. And so there's kind of a pressure behind it to get going. And that has worked fine. I mean, and there's so many therapists that are like hitting six figures, will hit six figures, are beyond six figures, like it's not broken, but that is kind of the whole reason, one of the reasons why I've redesigned the programs now for people who have never been for coaching to have kind of a surround care and like to take 12 months instead of 12 weeks to create that foundation. And as they're creating it, like really getting to sit in that foundation and see like, okay, do I need to like rework this policy over here? What do I need to think about myself in order to give myself permission to do that? And like really take the time to settle into the changes and get coached if anything else comes up, instead of like, let's bam this out as fast as we can.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to be an amazing container. 12 months. That's going to be an amazing container to be in. Like, I can only imagine what those relationships are going to be like with the people that are in that container and how they're going to come out the other end. I mean, what a bunch of lucky ass people. And
I know
I'm
they're
do
lucky.
everything I can to be there.
And it's rolling enrollment. So people can just enroll whenever like they find it instead of having to wait. It's like, don't wait, just get in.
I love that. I love that.
I'm excited about it too. I'm really excited to see what happens because, my goal is to help every MFR therapist create six figures, not just like the lucky ones that happen to get to enroll or that found me right on time or whatever. It's like, no, like, if you're an MFR therapist, like get in here and start learning how to talk about MFR from scratch. And if you've been a therapist for 20 years and you're about to burn out, get in here and like, let's solve those problems because nobody needs to be burning out. And you're probably just subscribed to this old paradigm bullshit patriarchy of business that like just doesn't work. It works for a little bit, but ends up not working out.
I kind of see that also as if you're a massage therapist and you're still doing Swedish massage, don't come at me, but I see that as the Swedish massage paradigm of you have to work your absolute ass off because you're only getting to charge $75 an hour, and you're doing deep tissue, which absolutely kills your body. And so like, I feel like a lot of MFR therapists, and I know I'm one of them, I'm trying to move the paradigm of at least what we do off of that, so that we're more like, I
It's
want to
not a
be like a
luxury.
chiropractor. Yeah, we're not a luxury. We are a must. And we are the replacement for your Western medicine, pain medicine
Well,
doctors.
what if you like, what if
companies.
people started to shift into like, they get MFR, not
Mhm.
out of luxury, but out of necessity, and also preventatively. And
Absolutely.
like we start to prevent like herniated discs. We start to prevent people needing their hips replaced. We start to prevent people needing their knees replaced. Like, what is the quality of everybody's life if that's what they're focused on doing? And I know when
Mhm.
I'm getting care, and I'm guilty of this too, is like waiting for something to go wrong and then like really trying to get in and get a lot of therapy. But my whole focus for going forward is how can I get a lot of therapy preventatively because and nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
And like how long can I prevent like the flare that I typically would get in my neck or my
Mhm.
low back? Like this is
Absolutely.
going to be a really fun experiment for me because typically I do it the
Mhm.
other way, right? But now I'm thinking about it differently and I want everybody to start thinking about it in that way.
Mhm.
Prevention, 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 not always like how can I like back this up and wish I didn't hurt myself.
Exactly. And that's like, I mean, because I don't know how many people know my story, but like I found MFR because I was a chronic pain sufferer. I had a headache every single day. It didn't come and go. It was literally there for 10 years.
Mm,
And so I hadn't been getting service for quite a while because my schedule was just kind of crazy and all of that kind of
that's
stuff. And
life.
then I felt the headache coming back. And it was an absolute, oh shit, like
Mm,
it's coming back. And I know, one, I know what to do about it. But two,
mhm.
I haven't given myself maintenance appointments. I haven't given myself regular appointments. Like I haven't been doing my self-care, but I also haven't been getting service from the person I get service from.
Yeah.
Let's get my ass on a table and with
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah. So it's very important to continue, because even though you aren't in that chronic pain loop every single day, it can come back.
Hmm.
So maintenance, preventative, yeah, all that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the same can be said for your business and for coaching. Like
Mhm.
maybe you don't perceive that you have any problems in your business, but what if you're in a container where it was just preventative and only
Yeah.
helped you go faster, only helped you make more money, only helped you feel better, only helped you help your clients more? It's preventative. Like let's prevent the drama that comes up in business, prevent feeling lonely,
Mhm.
prevent all of those things. Let's face it too, like one of the other things that I really struggled with when I was practicing is that loneliness factor of like most people are like driving into work to their single practice practitioner or
Mhm.
and like there's no one else in your area doing what you're doing, or if they are, like there's few and far between. Like maybe you're only getting together for study group or you're only seeing each other at seminars. What if you're seeing 20, 30, 40, 50 other therapists every week on a call and connecting every single week, talking shop and talking out the things that are affecting you in your business? It is the most fun I think I've ever had, is like talking shop with other MFR therapists and being like, oh yeah, this is
Yeah.
not it's okay that this is going on. Like you're not alone.
Mhm. Yeah, because I mean, even at seminar, you don't get those opportunities because it's, let's, learn the thing and go do the thing, and then learn the thing and then go do the thing and learn. So you don't
Mhm.
really get those kinds of things going on. So I mean, yeah, it's a beautiful container. And just like I said in my last podcast, like I will always be back.
Mhm.
There will always be a moment where I need a Heather, so I don't think I'll ever get out of needing coaching. So, and
Mhm.
I think that's a beautiful thing because you're growing. You
Mhm.
should always need coaching, is
Yeah,
what I think. So,
it's not a problem because I do
yeah.
think too, people think, I mean, I come from like, I know it all sometimes. My brain is amazing, but my ego too. So yeah, I think sometimes we think we know it all, or like it's working fine enough, or I don't want to be uncomfortable. So I'm like going to not do that. And I want people that are in those fields to know like it's totally fine to come anyway and like to think you
Mhm.
know it all, and like just be surprised. Just allow yourself to be surprised.
Well, that's the other thing. Like you have to put yourself in your client's shoes. They're afraid. They don't know what MFR is. People usually have no idea what you're going to do to them
Yep.
or how it's going to work or the pressure that you're going to use. So be okay with being that uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable and you still want them to come to you and you want to help them and take care of them. It's the same thing. You need someone to do that for you.
Yeah.
And it's mainly about your brain. Let's bring your brain and put it on the table and
Yeah.
and
let's
give it the
quit
MFR
talking
coach.
to our clients about crosshand releases and like, let's start really selling results. And if that seems confusing, like come and figure out how to talk about it in that way. I wanted to really emphasize the good work that you're doing on Instagram and like social media in the language that you're using in your posts. Like I've seen people copying you, which is like always makes me chuckle, but it's very informative and helpful. And those are the things that are going to sell MFR. It's not the price. It's not the time on the table. It's the results and like the true encompassing of like what people get when they get a lot of MFR, not just like 1 or 2 treatments. And they're like, oh, this isn't for me. Like that's not even enough time to decide if something is for you or not. This is not sampling.
Yeah, I think I have a unique perspective because I was a patient for 10 years. I had chronic pain. I walked in and said, how many sessions am I going to have before I feel better?
Yeah.
So I absolutely understand that, get it. And I try to live it on the other side now as I'm trying to educate people. And so, yeah, I get people at seminar walking up and say, you're the Trinity Myofascial girl. I'm like, yes,
that's me.
That's me. It's hard to recognize me with my hair.
Yeah. You're pretty basic. Yeah.
I'm a basic bitch. So yeah, that's fun. It's fun. Yeah. And I always get people, walking up to me at seminars, even when I don't have your shirt on, and they're like, you've coached with Heather. And I'm like, yes, I have. And so they always ask me, is it worth the money?
And you're like, I mean,
I say every red penny, it's worth it.
That's amazing. I love it so much. Well, thanks. Thanks for advertising for me. It's working out beautifully.
I do what I can. We all need a Heather.
You're hilarious. What do you think is your biggest win or the biggest change you've made since coaching?
Being secure in my abilities.
I would agree.
Yeah, being secure and knowing what I'm doing has been huge. And I mean, you don't go over technique with us. You don't do any of that, but it's all in my mind. It's all in my mind of, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And even if I've had MFR1, I still know what I'm doing. So, it's just having that security and being able to walk in. My main thing is also just being able to walk in as the boss and the expert. Because some clients can really make you feel like you're not the expert. So being able
based on the thoughts you're having about them, right? It's like not even necessarily anything they're doing.
Yes. Yeah. And so no matter what comes out of their mouth, and I still fall into it. I do have a client here and there that will say words and I'm like, okay, I'm done. But I mean, that's just part of dealing with human beings.
Yeah. Well, and also like when you grow your business and you become fully booked and you are the CEO and the boss of your business, when things like that arise, like you actually have a decision that you get to make. Like this client is a no, or this client is one I will coach myself on. Always. Yeah. And you have that ability even before you're fully booked. Like I want to just offer that to everybody that's watching us or listening to us. Like you have that ability before you're fully booked too, but I think you're less likely to act on it out of scarcity. But yeah, you don't have to see anyone you don't want to see. But also, is it just your thoughts about them or something about yourself that's keeping you from fully being able to show up for them?
Absolutely. And it's part of like, you do the whole what went well and what went wrong. And I swear to God, I do that after every single appointment, even if there's someone who's been seeing me for almost a year. When they walk out the door, I'm like, okay, what went right and what went wrong in that appointment? And so I try to make notes and try to make mental notes or written notes of what I am not happy with, how, I'm not going to say I did anything wrong, but
Like
what
it's
could I,
anything you would do differently next time.
absolutely, what could
Yeah.
what would I do differently?
Yeah.
And then I carry that into their next appointment, or even into the next appointment that I have with somebody that I don't know.
Yeah.
So
That is like $1 million winning strategy. And the part where you're doing that after every client, like I just have to commend you for doing that, because the information you learn about yourself really helps you to talk to that next client differently if whatever you said to that first one before them didn't land. It's
yeah,
like
and I think it
really good.
almost kind of like, it also helps you to clear the air so that you're not taking all that bullshit from that appointment that you feel like might not have gone the way you wanted it to,
Mhm.
and not bringing it into the next appointment with the next person. So
Yeah, because you just like evaluated it cleans everything up, and then you can
mhm.
see if you're having any drama thoughts about it, and then you can work through those if you need to. But usually in an evaluation, it will reveal one or two thoughts that you're having that you get to just be like, okay, that's ridiculous. Like moving forward, this is what I'll do. 'Cause that's usually what
Yeah.
it is, right? Like we have thoughts like our clients don't like us, or our clients don't want what we have, or worse, we have thoughts about our clients that our clients like are stupid, or they just don't get it.
Mhm.
And those can seem like the truth, but they're just the thoughts we have about them. And it's not true. I really like to practice believing, and I'm just going to let people borrow these thoughts from me, but like our clients are resourceful. They're smart.
Yeah.
They know what they want. Like they were smart enough to get themselves here. So we're going to take
Mhm.
it from here. They got themselves here. It is my job to take them from here to get them to their result. And like, I'm not going to just give up.
Exactly. And I think that would be another thing that I have taken from this, is not being sorry for how much I charge. And I'm not sorry for, I don't make excuses for the client anymore when they can't pay for it,
Yeah.
or
It's
how
just not
they're
their
going to pay for
priority.
it.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm very secure in, when somebody asks me how much I charge, I have no problem telling them what it is. And I don't follow it up with any of the other shit that I used to follow it up with.
Yeah.
And
And look
so,
at how many people are opting in now.
yeah, and I have a couple of clients and they're like, okay, well, I'm going to have to move some things around in my life to be able to afford you. And I'm
Mhm.
not sorry for that. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Go for it.
like,
Do
yeah,
it.
if you want authentic healing, then here we are,
Do you think it
so.
helps too that like you've also done the same thing? Like you had to get really
Mhm.
resourceful to come to coaching the first time.
Mhm.
And like, what the transformation of that is like when you get resourceful, and like it's available. Like if
Mhm.
you can do it at that point where you were, like your clients can do it too.
Yeah, and that also, but I mean, I had to get resourceful going to MFR when I first started out. I had no idea. Like I'd only
Yeah.
had massages at that point. And so back then my person charged $130 an hour. And
Mhm.
this was almost, I don't know how many years ago. And my mouth fell open when she said, but then I was like, but I'm in chronic pain. Like,
Yeah.
so take my money. I will find a way. I will figure out how to pay for you, because I really like, that's the thing. Like if you get on the table and you can't tell how groundbreaking and how moving MFR is, like you need to come more into your body, because
Yeah. And you need a lot more MFR. That's it. Like
yeah,
that's the solve. Yeah.
absolutely. And so I let myself get out of it's not my problem when you can't pay for me, because I know that you can if you really want to, and when you need it. So you'll find a way.
Yeah. I always think back to me, like when I had no money, like when you're really young and like you're
Yeah,
whatever, you've got like a minimum wage job or whatever, but you still always manage to pay for the things that you want to do.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's
It-
half the problem, is like all these people feel like it's, when they come through chronic pain, they've been told from the Western world that it's, oh, here, let me take your copay and let me give you these pills and they're going to fix you.
Mhm.
And they never do, rarely do.
Yeah.
So I think and that's another part of them taking radical responsibility for their own part in healing. So
Mhm. Yeah. And we just need to offer to them that that's an option. Like we
yeah.
don't have to force anyone to do anything. It's not about forcing. It's just about like
Mhm.
constantly offering it and being like, this is available for you. And I'm going to believe ahead of time enough, not only for your results, but for the fact that I can help you get those, like until
Mhm.
you're bought in too. It's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, I do that for all my coaching clients that like come and they're like, so show me how to make $100,000. Go.
that was
You
me.
know?
That was me.
Yeah, and
That was
I'm
me.
like, this is not like eventually you'll get there. Like inevitable that you will get there if you do the work.
Yeah.
Just, and you could get there even not doing it or like taking a long time, but like that's fine too. Like the time component is, it's great to collapse time, but like if you don't want to, like go slow. I don't care.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for you to get to the water and take a drink. So that is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you being here. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Only that if you're thinking about coaching with Heather, do it.
All right. Well, there you have it, everybody.
I said so do it.
Donna said she's the best. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. Everybody, thanks for tuning in for another episode, for either watching us on the replay of this or listening to us on the podcast. I'll be back with another episode soon. We'll see you all then. Bye.